is that?
That would be interesting. Hello, team. I'm coming at you again through my microphone, I guess. I know it's been a month already, and I said I was kind of back, but to my defense, not that I'd really have to defend myself for anything, but I had exams, and even though I'm technically on my break right now, I have lots of tiny essays to write and finish, and I'm sorry for any rambling, but my speech has been very influenced by the constant writing and confusion in my brain. But yeah, this is another paint with me, as you might have seen at the beginning, and yesterday I got the sudden urge to paint, and so I did. And a bit about what I'm painting before I get into the subject of this video. I bought flowers for myself after exams and put them in like this really pretty glass bottle that contained wine at some point. And to this wine, it's François du Lac, and it's a rosé that my friends always drank and that I at some point like drank with them during senior year of high school. And I really miss these times a lot, so I bought that wine after exams for the nostalgia. And it is pretty decent. It's pretty cheap, so you know the quality is not as consistent, but yeah. Anyways, I kind of just wanted to paint something like a rough still life, as you can see. And I did not have any acrylic, so I used gouache, which I ended up regretting because I have no idea how to use the medium. But either way, I'm satisfied with how it turned out. Yeah. And now we get into the subject of the video, which is surprising things I learned in my first semester of uni. Because I thought, I don't know, I've been going to uni for, I mean, I've never really gone to uni because, you know, online classes and shit, but I've been a student for half a year now. And I've moved out half a year ago, which is crazy to me. It doesn't seem that long because time is just going so fast, and you know, I'm already done with like a sixth of my study program, which is awesome and terrifying. But anyways, I have a few really surprising things that I've learned that I want to just keep in mind just for fun. I thought it would be a fun kind of subject. Maybe I can do one of these each semester to kind of check in with myself and keep these in my brain for future, I don't know, as I have stated before, this is kind of like a diary, so, you know, obviously I'm going to talk about uni. Yeah, and I have a few points that I will get into, but yeah. So the first thing that comes to mind is that I have found a new passion for music science. In case I have not mentioned it yet, or in case you do not know, I am studying a mixture of art history, music science, and media science in uni. It's kind of a very unique bachelor's degree. And I discovered it on accident after getting rejected from art schools, and it seemed like a very nice alternative, and I really do not regret applying for it because it seems like me in a scientific bachelor's degree. So, you know, humanities. I love humanities, but it's very stressful, very stupid too, because sometimes you're just wondering why you're going through all this trouble. Anyways, one thing I was always worried about was music science, because before I started this study program, I could barely read, like, scores. I forgot everything I learned in music classes in high school, but yeah, it was fine. It ended up being fine. I had a music theory class and I had a orchestration class, basically, which is crazy to me, but I've learned a lot about music theory. And I also had a music science class where I learned a lot about music science, and there's like a difference and it's really fun. But yeah, honestly, I've always been interested in music, but not making music, but like the theory and science behind it for some reason. It's kind of like math. I mean, especially music theory has a lot in common with math. To me, someone who's really bad at maths, because it has lots of rules and it's very strict to learn, and you basically just apply things and solve exercises and stuff. It's really fun, because you have something you can actually hear at the end of it. And yeah, so yeah, I'm really excited to be diving more into music science, especially since my study program is mixed with media science. There is a chance of me at some point being able to talk about video game music, and you know how much I love Super Mario Galaxy music, for example. But in general, ever since I've learned more about music science, I've learned to listen to music in a completely different way, which is really fun. The other day I listened to Butterfly, and you know, the first chord of Butterfly sounds very deep, if that makes sense. Not deep. Deep is not the correct word, but very... It's very hard to very hard to explain, but it has this sense of greatness to it and space. And that is because I think I'm correct, but I think it is a seventh chord, and they usually produce some kind of space, and that was really fun to find out, and the fact that I heard that just blew my mind. So yeah, that's the fun thing. On the contrary, and that's the second point, I got more or less confirmed my suspicion that I would have dropped out of art history if I had taken art history, or I would drop out of art history eventually if I had taken it. Art history is also part of my course, but it's not purely art history. It's mixed with the other stuff, so that's fun. But if I had taken purely art history, I would have probably not seen the point of it at some point. No shade towards art history, I still love it. It's a really fun subject to think and learn about, but to me it's just a lot more dry and yeah, it's stuck in the past to me somehow. I mean, you're talking about like past art things, and I mean, it definitely has its relevance today. That's why people still do art history, but I'm much more interested in the things that I'm learning now in my study program, so I'm really grateful that I did not pick art history, which was a plan at some point, but my heart goes out to any art history peeps. I admire y'all for being able to stay interested in the same subject for so long, because most of the people I've talked to that do art history are very passionate about the subject and will probably be so for the rest of their lives, and I admire that, and I'm looking forward to learning from them at some point, I guess. So yeah, and then yeah, the next point is learning by doing works wonders when it comes to being an adult. And what I mean by that is, moving out and becoming an adult, you are constantly having to keep track of more things, if that makes sense. You know, for example, one thing that comes to mind is having to basically go to the city council, not really the city council, to the town hall that you're moving to and announce that you've moved there and changed the address in your everywhere, basically. Everyone needs to know where you live. It needs to be official. So yeah, and that can be scary if you're doing it for the first time. And also voting, or I don't know, just going grocery shopping, washing your clothes, doing laundry, cooking, any chores. Like, when you do it for the first time, it's kind of scary, but the more you do it, the better it gets, and the more mundane and fun even. And the point is just, you know, learning by doing. Just doing it really helps in these situations. It doesn't always help. Learning by doing is not the right answer for anything, everything I mean, but it definitely is for doing like those things that are just scary because you don't know what will happen if you mess up, basically. So just doing them is, I mean, it's something I've always kind of struggled with, doing things for the first time and just rather not doing it instead of learning from the progress. So yeah, but it's been really fun. I feel very grown up now, even though it's been like 6 months. Yeah. The next thing is, and that one goes to my heart especially, being in contact with actual human people that are near you, that face the same or similar struggles, or not even struggles, but just that have similar experiences in uni, especially in uni, make every struggle worth the pain. And what I mean by that is, I have made friends in my study program. I have made lots of friends in my study program, surprisingly, and that has just helped me immensely. It's crazy. I don't know. Because you have someone you can gossip about, things about, not even just gossip, but it's just the simple things that you can look for assurance with them. Does that make sense? Like, basically, I can see myself failing with this background right now. This is like the part where it all goes wrong. I'm sorry, I got distracted again. Oh my god. But yeah, what I mean is, it's always just fun to have someone to check in with and ask how they're managing things, so you can see how well you're doing. I'm not saying to compare yourself with your peers, but sometimes it does help, especially if it's a healthy discussion, a healthy back and forth, I guess. The same thing goes to, and like, forget that I said that, but cheating. Not cheating in a relationship sense, also not cheating in a test sense, but like when it comes to homework, for example, it's not really cheating, I guess, but asking people for homework, like, can I copy your homework, or can I copy your notes? It's okay to ask people you're close with, but it should be like a giving and taking. Like, there are people that just take from people, and I feel like that's the same with like uni relationships. I mean, I'm friends with my uni people that I have that contact with, but even if I wasn't, yeah, I would still try to respect that. And yeah, I guess that's what I'm kind of trying. Also, oh my god, this is like the best example for what I'm saying. Just like seeing people, like online classes, honestly, I kind of did enjoy them because they were easygoing. You didn't have to leave the house, but I had 2 exams in person. I had to actually go to uni to take these exams. Seeing so many people for the first time that I basically kind of spoke to every day, or would have seen every day if uni was normal. It felt really incredible seeing all those people and being like, wow, you really actually exist. Like, I don't know, it's a weird feeling to have, but it felt very reassuring to know that you're actually part of a group and that those people actually exist. So yeah. And the next point is, I enjoy living on my own and homekeeping a lot, actually. I used to joke about not being able to cook because I never really did it, because there was no necessity for it, like I didn't have to. And then last year, when the virus hit for the first time, really, and we had to go into lockdown and I had nothing to do, I kind of took up cooking and learned it here and there with some help from my mom and chefkoch.de, the site where I basically get all of my recipes from. If I use recipes, you know, nowadays I don't really use recipes, but of course you start with recipes, and it's also like the easiest way, because if you have recipes, everyone can cook, and then from there on it's just figuring out spices and how things work, and it's really easy, and it's really fun, especially if you're sitting all day and doing a lot of mental work. It's really fun to do something that is kind of automatic and intuitive, which is also why art is a really great thing, because it can be really automatic and intuitive, which is why I did this painting, because it was very automatic and intuitive. I didn't really have to think a lot because I just went with the flow. But that's basically what cooking does. And also cleaning is a blessing. If you feel uncomfortable in your space, just clean it and it'll make your day better. It doesn't fix all of your problems, but it makes things a lot easier. Like especially like having to do mental work, being in a cluttered space will make your mind cluttered. I think that's common knowledge at this point. And I mean, for me, it really, really helps. If my room is clean, my mind is clean. That's how it works for me. It might not work for everyone, but for me it does. And also just once in a while, getting up to do laundry, walking into the basement to get your laundry, to put a new stack of clothes in. It just kind of is a nice way to focus on something else for a second and to structure your day, if that makes sense. Anyways, what comes with doing all of this yourself is, aside from the responsibility you have to take for yourself, also the freedom. Like, you can do whatever you want. You can cook whatever you want. You should still, look for nutrients and stuff and look that you're getting everything you need to be healthy. But you can cook whenever you want, whatever you want, and how much you want. Like, you don't have to look for anyone. And I know eating alone can sometimes be very lonely. I don't eat alone all of the time. I do enjoy eating alone, but I also enjoy eating with people, especially with my family. Food has always been a really big part of our family experience, like bonding over dinner and cooking together more and more. So yeah, I really do enjoy doing chores with other people, but just the independence and freedom you get from doing everything for yourself is something that's really hard to forget once you're kind of going back. It's really stressful once you get used to it. But yeah, like having to adapt to people, which is really interesting. I mean, I do live in a shared flat. I don't have a flat all on my own. I have to share my kitchen and bathroom with people, which I'm really, really happy about, because there are some things I would just be so terrified of dealing with them alone on my own. And so we're like multiple people that can kind of have each other's backs and stuff, which is always fun for the start. And it also kind of feels like a very long class trip. It's really, really fun. I love if you get the chance to live like in a dorm or shared living space when you go for uni or something, do it. I'm serious. It's something I wouldn't want to miss out on. It might not be for everyone, but I think you have something to gain from it for sure. Yeah, but as I said, it's stressful to go back to having to schedule your day according to other people. Yeah, just once you're used to it. But I guess that's also always worth it. Having more people around that you can do stuff with. Sometimes living on your own can be very lonely, even if you're not technically alone. But that's part of the experience of growing up, I guess. And the last thing that I wrote down is that there is not one correct way or path to choose in life. And this more or less goes for me being very, very heartbroken when I got my rejection letter from art unis, and I was like, for a few days I was just knocked out. I could not get out of bed. It was, especially my relationship to art. I looked at my Instagram story posts just a few days ago of how I felt back then, and it was very, very sad. Like, it was like, I don't know, it sounds very dramatic because it's just a uni experience, but I kind of lost, for just a second, I kind of lost my identity, because I always identified myself with wanting to study art, and I was so sure that I was going to make it that I felt ashamed and guilty for not making it, for not being good enough, I guess, which is, I guess, a common experience once you fail. But yeah, and that was really crushing. And especially in art, I felt like I was not doing well enough in art, and it kind of wrecked me. And I'm really happy that I picked myself up again, and now I can do art without any guilt, if I can do it. You know, time is still very sparse with going to uni, but yeah, I found myself in art again. I also found myself in uni experience again. Like, I'm really happy with uni, how it's going. I really enjoy the study program. I'm really grateful that I found it. I'm so grateful almost that I would say that I'm kind of glad I did not get accepted at art schools, because I would have missed out on this experience. But yeah, I guess that's all I learned from this first semester of uni, and thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it could calm you down in a way. I hope you can maybe relate to any of these experiences. And yeah, I hope I can see you soon again. I hope I'll upload more consistently. I hope you have a nice week. Bye!